It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? Happy Monday to you all. It is Monday, April 20th, 2020, 4/20/2020. We're here this morning to talk about the concept of abundance versus scarcity. Hopefully you guys have heard those terms before. We're going to break them down. We're going to talk about why it is so important to not have a mindset of scarcity. Good morning, Janice. How are you? Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you. But yeah, what's happening, Steve Brainy, Jared, good morning, guys. I wanted to talk about the difference between an abundance and a scarcity mindset and what it really does for your life. It is a huge, huge shift in the way that you operate, the way that you function. The level of fear that you actually have in your life will be determined a lot by that ability to have an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. So I would ask yourself to think about that. You know, what mindset do you have? Are you in fear of, not having enough of certain things, whatever that may be? Or do you have a mindset that no matter what happens to you, you can always go out and replace whatever it is that you might be at risk of having less of temporarily, but on the other side, have the ability to go out and get more of that thing? So what I will tell you for sure is that there is absolutely no shortage of anything in this world. So if you have that mindset, you've got a little bit of fear in your mind, especially around a time like this, where, there's a lot of messages coming across, whether it be social media or the news or something like that, that makes you believe that, man, there's going to be a really scarce amount of money, of jobs, of resources available to you. It's just absolutely not true, because the top percentage of people in this world will always have those things available to them. What's happening, Hal? Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, guys. Thank you for jumping on here. So, this kind of hit me yesterday when I was walking in the morning. I was walking around my neighborhood, and I was just thinking about how many people that I've talked to and interacted with that kind of have this. Good morning, Denise. How are you? Thanks for jumping on. How many people I've talked to that have this fear. Good morning, Jeff. How are you, brother? Thanks for jumping on. Happy Monday to you as well, man. There is absolutely no shortage of anything. And I was walking around my neighborhood, and I'm like, man, look at this, dude. There's trees everywhere. There's sidewalks poured. There's homes all over the place. There's one of my neighbors has 5 cars in the driveway. And so I started thinking about, man, I wish that everybody would have this moment of looking around them and seeing how much abundance there is in our world around us, and how much there is for people to reach out and grab, to have as resources for themselves, And it all comes down to starting with that mindset of not believing that the whole world around us is scarce, that there's, a certain amount of money that you can make, a certain amount of resources you can have. That just doesn't exist, guys. So I did a live stream yesterday on Instagram, and I was talking about this concept and how everything around us right now, the news channels and social media and even your family and friends, they're trying to convince you, and they're doing a good job of it from the conversations that I've had, that there is not enough out there for everyone. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely just not true, because those people who are motivated, those people who are going out there and doing a good job, if you've lost your job, doing a good job of going out there, putting together a quality cover letter, a quality resume, actually calling people's businesses and trying to get a new opportunity for yourself. There is an abundance of people out there looking for great employees. And if you are willing to put in the work, what's happening, Judd, Barbara? Good morning, Mike, Rosgoni. How are you, man? Thank you for jumping on here. If you are willing to go out there and put in the work, there will never, ever, ever be anything in your life that is scarce. There will not be scarcity of money. The only time that money will get scarce in your life is when you stop working towards having it, when you stop having the ideas that create more financial security in your life. Because no matter what, you will always have the ability in this world to create more income, more financial security, more resources around you. And so as I was walking through my neighborhood yesterday and I started showing people what I was looking at, for example, I'm walking down a sidewalk in my neighborhood, then I know how much that sidewalk costs. I'm looking at green grass all around me. Not every country in the world, guys, has green grass everywhere. I'm looking at every single tree in my neighborhood, in the neighborhoods across the street. Everywhere that I travel, there is mulch around every tree. There's decorative shrubs everywhere. It's abundant everywhere in our world. Listen to the birds chirping every single morning when you're walking around. There's abundance everywhere, guys. Those birds have absolutely no resources. They have absolutely no shelter. They have absolutely nothing. And they find a way to survive in our world. They find a way to be fed. That is biblical, by the way. God says, if the birds are able to survive and function and thrive, then you should never worry. Think about that. Those resources are out there, guys. They're right at your fingertips. But if you do not have that mindset of abundance, that there are things out there for you to go and get today, then you will function in the mindset of scarcity. And when you function in the mindset of scarcity, you will receive fear, anxiety, concern, everything negative that you can think of will sneak its way into your life. And you will start to be overcome by those things. Instead of looking at what's going on in the world, realizing that many, many times in history, there have been things that have happened in the economy. And I know that everybody is turning on their TVs and they're hearing the following: this is the worst. We've never experienced anything like this. The last time that anything like this happened was over 100 years ago. This is the worst financial setback in the history of the United States, potentially, in the history of the world, potentially. We're hearing that all the time. Maybe that is correct on a global scale, but it is not correct for every individual person. And so I would ask you to look at that through your own lens, not through the lens of what's going on globally or how everyone in the world is going to be impacted. I would ask you to look at it from the standpoint of how you are going to be impacted, what you have control to influence, how you can bounce back from these things that happen in the world, and how you can outmaneuver it by having the right friends, having the right circle, having the right people around you, having a supportive family, coaching your own family to not be afraid, but to take action towards correcting the issue, towards putting yourself in a better situation, towards collaborating with people that will help you make this situation better. Everything in this world can be navigated. I have a picture on my wall that I stare at every single day, and it's a picture of a big boat out in the ocean, and it says this: smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. So I would ask you to lean into this problem, to look at this problem and figure out what it is that you need to do to make it better. Because sitting around and watching television and watching the news and waiting for everything to be over and not reading books, listening to podcasts, doing the things that make you better at life so that when things go back to normal, the other words that people are trying to scare you with right now is the new normal. What is the new normal? I'll tell you what normal is. It's whatever you make it. Whatever you make it. And I can promise you this, that in my house and in our businesses and in everywhere that we function, normal is just going to be normal. It's not going to be a new normal. I saw someone at Home Depot the other day that I know. And she walked up to me, and I know her family has not been anywhere. I interact with her on social media all the time. I know that these people are safe and healthy. And she says, I want to give you a hug, but I know where. I said, listen, whatever, man. We don't have to live by these rules that people put on us. If you do that, you're living by fear. I'm not telling you to go out, be irresponsible, and hug all kinds of strangers that you don't know where they've been. But it is absolutely a mindset of fear that you think that giving someone a hug is somehow going to make you sick and put you in the hospital. It's just not true, guys. And so that is the same mindset that everybody in the world is being fed right now, that you should be afraid, that there is scarcity, that there's not a lot of things out there for you to do. What if you lose your job? Oh, the government's going to take care of you because we're going to give you $600 more in unemployment. I got news for you guys. If you are looking for the government to ever be your caretaker, whether that's through a loan for your business, through unemployment insurance, through anything that the government provides, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it's a bad solution for you. If you trust the government to take care of your family, you need to listen to more episodes of this show. There's 129 of them now. Go back and listen, because there's a lot of tips that are going to push you in the right direction away from relying on anybody else. Because abundance is available to you every single day. Every single day, there is an abundant world out there for you to tap into. But if you believe the things that people tell you without verification, without going online and looking at the facts, you will figure out that giving someone a hug that you know is not sick, is not at risk of getting sick, has a 0.00015% of making a difference in either of our lives. And so when you think about that concept of abundance versus scarcity, and again, I'm not telling you guys to go out and violate all the rules, and I'm not doing that either. I'm just telling you that these are the things that you have to make sense in your own mind of, so that you can live a life that is actually happy and fulfilled and full, not one that is full of fear and fear of not having enough money, not having enough resources, not having enough people around you to help, not having enough solutions to all of our problems. There are solutions to every problem. And I don't care if the world's shut down or it's wide open, it's back to normal. There are solutions to every single problem. Trisha, 100%. Don't be a sheep, guys. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, do your homework. There is incredible value to listening to people's advice. People, right now, I am listening to all kinds of entrepreneurs, business owners, people that I respect, as to how they dealt with this situation, the last financial situation back in 2008, 2009. I'm listening to them. But their advice does not apply to my life directly, does it? It's different because they run different businesses. They run different size businesses. They have a different number of employees. They have different industries that they work in. But the reality is I can take their knowledge, I can research that, verify some of the things that they say, and I can apply that to my own life. I can pay attention to what's going on in my own business, my own life, and I can apply the principles to that. But if you turn on the news and you don't actually verify some of the things that are being fed to you, you're going to be convinced of this scarcity mentality. And you're going to fall into that trap of believing that everything right now in the world is bad and that there is no abundance. And I'm here to tell you guys that if you do that, if you allow people to convince you of that, this situation probably will turn into exactly what they're telling you. The worst period in history for you. The worst financial situation that you've ever found yourself in. It will be that because you will make it that way. because you will believe the scare tactics and the fear and the lack of things that people are trying to sell you right now. I did this exercise yesterday morning, and I'll share it with you guys because you don't have to take my word for it. You can go to Google and figure it out for yourself. There is a website. Just type in trends, TRENDS.google.com, and go back to 2019 and look at the top 10 searches for news, for people, for all the different things that you can research there. And look at what you see. Look at what you see are the trends. If you guys want to trust me, or you don't have the time, or you don't end up going to look at it, I'm giving you that so you can verify what I'm about to tell you. You will realize this. Every single search that's in the top 10, I shouldn't say every single one because there's a few. Disney Plus was one of the most searched items, but the mass majority of searches that were done in 2019 that made the top 10 of Google for the entire year of 2019 were negative. It was Antonio Brown, who obviously didn't have a very good showing in 2019. It was Jussie Smollett, who you remember was in a lot of controversy. It was several people that passed away in 2019. The news was all about earthquakes and natural disasters and things that were terrible that happened in the world. Think about that, guys. So what is the media feeding us? What is social media feeding us? I got news for it. Here's what I do. When I see negative people in my news feed, you know what I do? There's a fantastic option that Facebook has given us all, Instagram has given us all. It's either unfollow, unfriend, or block. And I base that on the level of how negative it is. If it's kind of negative, maybe I just unfollow them for a while. If it's really negative, they just get blocked. They get unfriended. If it's something that I feel, if I have a relationship with that person, I actually send them a message and let them know why I'm unfriending them, because I think that people deserve the opportunity to make themselves more positive. And if nobody ever tells them, they won't know. But all of that negativity, what the media is feeding us, what comes across social media, sometimes what's in your own family, that all lends to the same thing. It lends to that scarcity mentality, to waking up with fear every single day. That's no way to live, guys. The way to live is to believe that you were put on this earth to do something great, that you were put on this earth to make a difference for people. That's what we're all here trying to do this morning. Nobody's tuned into this show that isn't trying to make a difference for themselves, for the people around them, for their families, because this is what we do every single morning. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to create abundance for people. We're trying to help you start your day a little bit brighter every single morning with some knowledge, with purpose, with intentionality, so that as you go throughout the day, those days get better. And life doesn't get better overnight, guys. It gets better little by little every single day. Every day that you decide it's going to be better, it will get better. And when you chain enough of those days together, at the end of all of that, you're going to look back and have a pretty good life. And it will be a life of abundance if you believe that's what it will be. I promise you. I have read this book that I'm about to show you. I'm probably on my fourth time through it. And I would suggest that all of you look into this book. There's several of you on this stream that have read this book. But this book will change your life. It will straighten out your thoughts. It is called Beyond Positive Thinking by Dr. Robert Anthony. Dr. Robert Anthony. And it will change your life, guys. It will help you understand why you think the way that you think, how your thoughts become thoughts in the first place. It is an old book. It's a simple book, but it's probably the most powerful book that I've read. And every person that I have told told to buy that book has come back with incredible feedback. And so I would ask you to think about where you're at right at this moment. Are you in that scarcity mentality? Are you believing the things that people are telling you? Or are you able to look out your window? I can look out my office window right now, and I can see abundance everywhere, man. I can see hundreds of millions of dollars probably of stuff when I just look out my window as far as I can see. So when people tell you that all of that is at risk of going away, it's just not true. It's not true. And you all have the ability to think differently right now, right this minute. And I would ask you to think about that. Where are you at right now, and where are you going to choose to be today? If this was helpful, guys, please take a second to share this to your page so that more people can hear this message. I know for a fact that a lot of people need to hear this exact message, because there have been times during this situation that we're all experiencing that I have needed to hear it. And I like to think that I work pretty hard on having a good mindset, but we all get shoved around and we get things put into our minds that don't belong there. And we need other people. We need a friend to show us something that can make us think differently. And whether that is, our own thoughts that we straighten out ourselves, or whether somebody else helps you, or whether maybe it's that you share this out to your page and somebody finds this that might need it. I say this often, but you never know when you might meet a person exactly where they need you to meet them to make their life better and to change their life in a big, big, big way. Because sometimes people have bad thoughts. And especially during times like this, I think that people need to hear as much positivity, encouragement, motivation, and perspective as they could possibly get. And so I would ask you guys to share this out. If you found it useful, please introduce a friend to what we're doing here. Just tag somebody in the comments, share it to your page, do all of the above. Go over to iTunes and leave me a review of what you think. It's every one of these episodes is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, on my YouTube channel. We're trying to get it out as many places as we possibly can so that people can tap into this, because they need it. Everybody needs it. What's happening, Bob? Good morning, Jeff Johnson. How are you, man? People need it bad right now. Bad. So please help me get this message out. Bring some folks to here. I appreciate you guys. I'm just so grateful. What's happening, Kate? Good morning. I will say hi to Lori and the kids. She's probably on here. But I hope this helped you start your week off right. And I hope it gives you the mentality that this is the week, guys. It's April 20th. Our country's going to be back to work soon. That's for sure. And when it goes back to work, I don't want you guys standing still. I want you starting in a sprint, in an all-out sprint, dominating your competition, dominating your role in your company, your role in your family, your role everywhere. You have to dominate the day. I have a sticker that's right in front of me. There's one that says follow up, one that says discipline, and one that says dominate the day. And that's what we all need to do, is dominate this week. And don't think because you're not going to your office that you can't do that, because you have every ability to dominate this day if you choose to. This is the week, guys. Make it a great week. I'm grateful for you guys to be here. Thank you so much for spending every morning with me, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning right here. Same place, same time on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.